Now, our first broadcast day of the week every week, this week it's on a Thursday. We get started on the right foot. We get focused in the right direction. Thanks to our friends at Kuby Energy. It's a feature we call Positive Reflections. This is so great from Corrine, who wrote in from beautiful Sylvan Lake. A shout out to Sylvan Lake this morning. Says, I can't say enough great things about the staff at the Red Deer Regional Hospital. From the moment that we arrived at the emergency doors, there was an employee who said that he would guard our truck. Corrine says vehicle theft's been happening all over the place. The staff got me into the hospital, every staff member along the way. I mean, it was unbelievable. The hospital is clearly overrun, but the kindness and the care and the compassion that we saw from people there is very much evident. Now, of course, it was impossible for me to capture here all of the incredible staff that cared for me, from triage to the physicians in the ER, the resident, the anesthetist, the respiratory tech, many ER nurses, the radiologist, the nursing staff in the operating room, recovery, the ortho unit. Wow. Says these surgeons, the porters, food services, physiotherapy, occupational therapy. Says Corrine, my gratitude is immense for all these people. And then there's the Central Alberta Lending Cupboard. How amazing. We have an organization that loans free of charge medical equipment for daily living. I'm set up for everything I need to manage at home and when I can get outside again. You better be sure. I'll be writing a letter to our Premier and Health Minister to express our frustration with the attack on our healthcare system, says Corrine. But today, it's a positive reflection. I love it. What about this one from James, who says, a huge shout out to my wife, Dawn. Says, I lovingly call her Donald, our inside joke. You see, she married me 26 years ago, and we all know about the vows in sickness and in health. Well, I have been sick. Last week, I was into one, and I won't give you most of the details because I bet everybody would like to keep their breakfast down. Thank you, James. Says, but where was my wife during this ordeal? She was there. She was taking care of me. She was making sure I had fluids, and I was getting rest, and I was getting the medication and the other help that I needed. There's no way I'll ever be able to properly express the gratitude that I have for my Donald, for not only taking care of me last week, but for making sure that things run properly at home and in our lives in general. She's one in a million, and I'm so lucky that she said yes 26 years ago. Now, she knows that as a family, we tune into Real Talk almost religiously, and he says, and I'm sure to play highlights, anything that I think she'll love that she may have missed. So this positive reflection is my small way of saying thank you, Donald, for taking care of me. I love that, James. And we'll close with this from Kendall, who says, yesterday I experienced something that years ago would have seemed totally normal, unremarkable, and hardly worthy of an email into a talk show. But Ryan, in the context of the past couple of years, or maybe a few years more than that, it struck me as very significant. As a matter of fact, it struck me as a perfect positive reflection. Yesterday, my kids were all playing on the giant snowbank outside of our house, the mild temperature making for perfect snowball and snowman weather. And of course, once the neighbor kids heard all the commotion, they were all outside as well, within a matter of moments. It's been a while since our kids have played normally, know what I mean? With each other, without a care in the world, without the cloud of COVID hanging over their heads. But that's not even the highlight, says Kendall. This is us moms settled into conversation as our kids played. It started with small talk, but of course it moved on from there. We started talking about how everybody feels about lifting mask use for kids in school and tossing out QR codes for restaurants and such, and even the truck convoy and everything that goes with that conversation. The point is, the three of us moms and neighbors standing there, not one of us agreed on everything. In fact, I quite strongly disagree with one of my neighbors on the kids and masks thing, but we had a great chat, and we met each other where we were at, and we talked, and we listened, and we questioned, and we answered, and at the end of it all, we gave each other a hug. And we talked about how great it was to be outside and to hear our kids shrieking with laughter and to talk face to face like everybody used to do. Kendall says, I don't think it changed my neighbor's mind on anything, nor did she change mine. And honestly, neither of us was trying to, but I walked back into the house with a smile on my face, and I sat down to send you this. As you say, Ryan, one love, Real Talkers, and have a great rest of your week. That from Kendall. If you have something that would qualify as a positive reflection, we'd love to receive it. You can tweet at us, but it's better to send us an email to talk@ryanjesperson.com. Every week, we give you reason to remember to smile and to tell one another that we love each other, we support each other, And we keep our perspective about how important it is to foster those personal relationships. Coming up tomorrow on the show, as mentioned, we'll talk about the supply chain. Dr. Jim Bookbinder is going to join me out of the University of Waterloo. He's an expert in logistics and supply chain management. We're going to go through the question of the week results, how you feel about that Ottawa occupation, plus insightful analysis of other stories as they develop, and you play a big part in that. Make sure you use our hashtag RealTalkRJ. Hit like, hit subscribe if you like what you've seen or heard on the show today, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, Real Talkers.